You're such an asshole.
All right, we live? We're live. Okay, good at that. All right, I gotta make this one kind of quick. Interesting background. Hey, Aaron, it's your black capitalist libertarian guy here. Oh man, are you lonely? Were you even invited to Christmas? You're black and libertarian? Oh man. What makes someone intimidating? Is it their face, race, income status? I'm a stocking built man. You mean stocky built man? Who stands between 5'11 and 6'0. I'm fairly good looking, as you can see in the photos attached. I'm not entirely full of myself or down on myself either. Sweet spot in the middle. I'm fairly humble and different at times with my demeanor, and have a take it or leave it attitude about most matters that aren't too pressing. I believe this question requires someone with a no gives a F personality to explain thoroughly. It isn't always about race, but there may be a hint of it here or there when it comes to the assumptions people make about me and my character. I reside in the Midwest, as we discussed in my previous email exchanges. I drive a very clean Camry car. Bought and paid for this year. Awesome. Only has only 80,000? Oh man, that's practically new. I've been on leave? I don't know what that is. I don't want to identify you too much. Since summer from a non-work injury, and I've basically been rehabbing and working on improving my chubby physique to take more of the load off my joints and knees. Good. So I can resume my job in a legitimate field that you are in. I've done a lot of growing over the years, having come from a dysfunctional background, lived in foster care. Basically, I was a charity case since I was conceived and spat out. Okay, I got it. Chris is going to be spat out of my mom's vag. Oh, dude, man, that's awesome. You can laugh at yourself that way. Oh, God. I have worked very hard to build myself into becoming a man that is honorable, not a parasite, don't waste people's time, can hold my own, and be a badass when I have to be. I don't go around beating on my chest trying to garner attention or anything to that effect. Actually, I'm too fucking meek. So I wonder if all I said touches on a deeper issue here with people. Maybe they're envious and covetous and believe I should suck because they suck, are NPCs and haven't done the work to build themselves into sentient, well-oiled machines who don't need the government to live off of or to protect them at all costs because they're still stuck in the sandbox and haven't grown into adulthood yet. Please don't be pissed off, as I said a lot. No, man, you used paragraphs. I mean, that's my standard now. I've asked countless on times to people I know, psychics, search engines on the web. You went to a psychic before you went to me? That hurts, man. That hurts. You went to a psychic before you went to me. Wow, you're desperate. And the web, and they all gave me some half-truth answers, but most of the advice is PC as fuck and centers on you having to be the bigger person. Well, this is true on that because that's the only thing you really control. Because I'll tell you that's true. You can't control anything but yourself. Fuck that. I will never kiss anyone's ass to make them feel better. So I had a question. I said, to a previous email, I said, well, who are these creepy weirdo fuckers? The clients, husbands of those houses you're doing your trade at, worksite personnel. Also, how tall are you? We already got that. And am I to understand your question is that you're intimidating people and like to not intimidate them? Maybe this helps other people, black or not. People I intimidate seem to be all across the income bracket and more NPC-like and how they come across. No one ever approaches me, but you could tell they want to break the ice, but hold back and just crowd me sometimes, like if I'm at the gym working out. As I move, they follow to the adjacent corner to get within an eye shot. Sometimes it's women, and we all know how they act. Skinny teens or middle-aged dudes might be down low peeps. Hard to say without sounding paranoid or arrogant. Well, yeah, but if there's no correlation, that's the first thing you like. Oh, you're trying to reverse engineer the formula to figure out, okay, am I intimidating little children? Am I intimidating dogs? What am I doing here? Because out of respect for society, you don't want to intimidate people. I don't know how these people live their lives that well, but they all seem intimidated and have a weird reaction to me when I come around. It's not volatile, but it's creepy. I'm introverted and couldn't care less about making any friends, go in public. Blah, blah, blah. Guns, Risa, I can bang. Redheads. There you go. There you go. Do sisters dye their hair red? I don't see that a lot. They usually go for the blonde thing. Then so be it. Red pill community has saved me a lot of time and money and sharpened my skills in a myriad of ways. I believe I have the talents to size people up without fearing for my life. Blah, blah. Yeah, so we talked a little bit here, and I hate to be bland. I don't want to sound like the psychic you went to. Here's what it's probably an amalgamation of everything. You're black, yeah, okay. You're in the Midwest, and I know the town you're in. There are other. It's not like 1953, and you're like, oh my goodness, Martha, there's a Negro, and he moved to the neighborhood. Oh my God, what are we going to? And they made a sitcom about it. And so maybe that's a little bit like if you're going out to the burbs, and they've truly never gone to town. And maybe that's even a little bit of a genetic holdover, like you know millions of years of human evolution, and you know if I walked into Africa, the locals would be like, "Whoa, what's this guy doing here?" And it wouldn't even be just, "Well, that's not normal." Usually you don't see white people in this neighborhood. So maybe a remnant holdover of that. You're not that tall. You're not that intimidating. I mean, stocky build, but you're not Andre the Giant. But you're taller than the average guy. Some of it may also be the nature of your work. I think that one we could certainly play a role on is that you're in other people's home doing some kind of work. We won't mention what. People are particular about their home. And here's a random person that they don't know, black or not. And I know I kind of like, I'll tell you this, I will never have a cleaning lady. Never. Because I'm like, I don't want her. And a lot of this has to do more with trailer trash South Dakota. I'm like, these girls are stealing my shit, you know? And I don't have a lot of shit, but the few nice things I have, they're nice and they mean something to me anyway. You wouldn't get any money for them. You know, like my agate collection. I mean, you're not going to get money for that. Anyone who wants to rob me, you're not going to get money from my agate collection. But I found them, you know, and like that's kind of personal, so you can kind of understand that. And then I would maybe take a stab. This would be unconscious on your part. I've never really been called intimidating, but I've been called the bull in the china shop. Even when I'm on my best behavior. And there was a great, Beckloff was talking about this one time. He was reading a comic book about the Flash. It was a Flash comic book. And I think he was dating a girl and he was trying really hard. And if you know anything about the Flash's background, he's more of a, especially like Justice League. He was always hitting on Wonder Woman and he was kind of the sly guy and the goofball. Everyone and then he got killed and Superman got pissed. And everybody really missed the Flash after that. But he's kind of a comedian player type. And he found a girl he really liked. He's really trying to make an impression. And so he's like, okay, I got to eat really slow. Just take measured bites, really slow, nice and slow, measured bites, be a normal person. And then the next panel he looks through and people haven't even taken their first bite and everyone's got their mouths open and he's already done. He's like, shit. And the point I'm making with the Flash is it could be something you're unaware of, like I eat incredibly fast. That's true because I didn't know where food was coming and we had to eat fast and go patrol it. Anyway, that's a different story. The background you have, being foster kid and all that, poor, although one could say war or professional athlete, a non-normal background will have inevitably physical tells or behaviors in your the way you walk, your cadence of speech, the way you look at somebody, and you could be completely unaware of it. Well, you are completely unaware of it. It's just a natural way you react. But to the normies, for lack of a better word, it's aberrant. Maybe not bad, maybe not good, but it's different. And they're kind of apprehensive is too strong word, but okay, that's different. And people don't like different, and not for, it's discriminatory. We're going to have like a freaking Disney show about what that different child did to save the village. No, I mean, it's different because that's different, and different would get you killed. Like back in the olden times, in the caveman days. So I don't know if it's intimidation or just different behavior, but there's, for what I'm not denying what you're witnessing. Obviously it's enough to the point. I think it's a real phenomenon. People are interacting with you a little bit differently. but it may be you, but it's not under your control. And this was the other point I was going to make. So yes, it could be you're in their homes. That's one thing. That's a major thing. So outside of work, let's control outside of work, because no one's going to be like, hey, here's some random stranger in my house. So that's it. The black thing, some, but I think that's going away. You're not that tall. Your behavior as to how you grew up. And we couldn't even call it behavior. We could call it mannerisms. You're unaware of it. You don't control that. Don't worry about it. Here's what it is. And this, unfortunately, isn't a solution. I just think people are pussies now, man. Like, that's most people, especially now with the disease going around, it was already hard enough to get people to go out and be social, especially for your generation because you're younger. And now that the millennials and some of the Zoomers are like being homeowners and all that, and that's largely your industry. This isn't like you walk into a bar in, the World War II days, and okay, yeah, then you'd have some legitimate, Jim Crow type of stuff to worry about. But you'd probably like, hey, what's up, Bob? Come on in. It's my black buddy. Oh, and they use different words and curse at their buddy. You go, better leave him alone, that kind of thing. And it'd be rough and tumble. But they may not even accept you, but they would accept your presence. Here, don't say anything. Oh my God. Like, whether you were black or not, it's like, oh, okay, just leave him alone. Because like, here's another, like, I'll draw another parallel. How many guys ask girls out in public? How many people are down looking at their phones and not interacting? I remember back in the day in the 90s, like, you go in Chicago, you would go into a bar and you actually bump into someone and you said, like, hey, watch my back over here. And the person wasn't mean or rude. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Like a little bit more blunt, forthright, not even in your face. And you were, hey, no problem, man. That kind of thing. And now it's like everyone's from Minnesota. Ooh, Scandinavian cowards, Scandinavian pussies. Ooh, we don't want to offend. And so I think that probably, it's a lot of things going into this soup. But I think that's like the broth. That's the base. I think is the environment. The society has just become less social and very insular, and no one leaves the freaking home. No one goes out. Another one. Back in the day, we'd play with the neighborhood kids. You would jump over the fence, or you'd go across the development, or you make it into the next neighborhood on your bikes, and there'd be other kids. Be like, who are these guys? But you'd either fight and then you play, or they'd excite and you play. There was more human interaction, and I'm thinking there's less human interaction. And then how do you handle that? That society largely has been looking at the screens and their interactions on the internet, and then when it comes on one-on-one time, and you being a libertarian type, which is a political philosophy, but I would also say it's a personality. Like, you got to have a type of personality to really be a libertarian. You really have to think a little bit, but they're a little bit more colorful. You might be a little bit more outgoing. And whether you realize it or not, I think all that combined, especially in the environment we're in, I don't know if it's intimidating, but for lack of a better word, intimidating. And I don't know if you're going to be able to control. What are you supposed to do? Shrink? Not work out? Not go do your job? And I wish I had a solution for you, man, but I don't. And that's the problem. Is it's kind of like the same stew that you're having your issues from. I have my most pressing existential issues. And then man, I can't find anyone to go hiking with. I can't find anyone that wants to leave the house. I'm in their 40s and older, because I want to roughly stay in my age group. I'm not against hiking with a 22-year-old, but I don't know what I'm going to talk to a 22-year-old about. But it's depressing, where it's like, does anyone want to live life? Does anyone want to step out of does anyone want to step out of their comfort zone? That's what you're probably running into more than anything else. And maybe I wish I could say, yeah, I know for a fact that's it. I don't know. I guess I would have to see you interacting in public, but I'm going to guess it's more society than anything else. And it's important you realize that, because that's going to affect other things. Like, let's say you get promoted to management. Now you're going to really have to put on the kid's gloves. I know a guy who got laid off because he was just factual. This guy was a professional, but people are getting so walking on eggshells fragile that you're not even, Dude, I lost a friend one time who I thought was more rough and tumble because I made fun of, oh, I don't want to identify the person, but I was like, really? Like, what? What? And it hurt because this is a really good friend. But then I'm like, if that's the eggshell I just broke, there was going to be others. And I think that, and that's what you're dealing with, and it's going to affect other things. Like, let's say, okay, you like the redheads. Okay, you find a redhead. She's let's say she's natural, so she's going to be white. All right. Racial hurdles there, maybe a little bit. Dad might be, oh, Martha. But it you go to Christmas, a little bit of a hurdle there with the family. The girl would presumably like you. But I wonder if it'd even be, it could just darn well be your personality. Okay, he's black. All right, fine. But you come in and you're a libertarian. And by the way, nobody likes a libertarian at a party. Watch my video. But all of a sudden you start talking, let's say the redhead's dad, Mr. Johnson. And Miss Johnson, what do you like? Oh, I do this, and I work my trade, and that. What do you do for fun? I go to the gun range. You're going to stand out, and you're going to evoke a positive response of that. Well, unless they're Democrats, gun-toting black man. Oh, Martha. Just different traits and behaviors that go a little bit too far out of the Bell distribution curve is going to evoke positive and negative, or just a different response. And that's fine. And you're going to have to deal with it. But I'll tell you, man, more and more now, a good policy is just be quiet, shut up, observe people. I mean, you could try other physical things like, don't dress loud clothes. I mean, your car is not intimidating by any, don't blast rap music. It is so douchey. I'm not saying be a demure mouse either, but, until people get to know you a little bit, and, there's other things maybe you could do particular to your thing, oh, howdy, I don't know, put on an accent. But I wouldn't worry about it because you're going to be leaving from one house to the next. It really isn't going to matter. And that's sometimes how it works, man. You don't control the environment that you're born into. You don't control the playing field that you get to play the game on, but you get to know it and you get to recognize it. But yeah, I think it's more of a problem for society than it is necessarily you. So, I mean, go ahead, do that, but don't lose sleep over it. I mean, you haven't gotten fired. Nothing negative has happened. I mean, maybe it's a little bit harder to make friends, but man, it's hard to make friends and find the girls anyway. So there you go. All right. I wish I had more. Oh yeah, do 5 push-ups and 3 Hail Marys, and then everyone will just accept you like Mr. Rogers. But it's not going to happen. But at larger point, don't worry so much about you. I think largely it's society being a bunch of pussies. That's really what it is. Nonstop Dre, $2. You describing my experience in college before remote. Okay, yeah. See, but now Dre, was it because you were black, or do you really think it was because you had a bunch of soy boy Gen Z millennial types coming? I mean, they got helicopter parents, for God's sake. I remember when I moved in, parents dropped me off. Here's your stuff. Get out of here. That kind of thing. They helped me move in a little bit. I didn't have that much stuff, but then they left. I really think it's coddling. I really think, and then any, almost like people have become Rain Man, like anything deviating from the schedule is going to ruffle some feathers or put the hair up on their back. I think that's really what it is. And then that's like, well, how timid of an individual do I got to become just to make other people comfortable around me? And I don't know. His job relies on it. Most people, you have to. Me, I don't know, walked in. I was pretty good this Christmas. I didn't say anything. All right, there you go. Okay, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.